Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Martinez with Martinez Art Lab. Today we're looking in Google Slides and we are going to look at a few of the ways to use drawing tools in Google Slides. So you have a Google Slides presentation open. I always have students double click on the untitled presentation and I always have them type in their full name and then whatever project it is. So today we're going to do Google Slide drawing tools because that's what we're working on, and then just have them click off to the side. That way they know that their project is saved and now it's saved to the drive. Everything they do is saved and it is there for them whenever they need to access it or turn it in. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and look at some of the drawing tools. I'm going to use a plain slide, so I'm going to delete these text boxes just by clicking and pressing delete or backspace on my keyboard. Now that I've got that, a couple ways that I can use the drawing tools. We've got the shape tool, and when I click on that, each of these four options are going to give me a sub menu, and that sub menu gives me all these choices. So when I go to shapes, I can just click on any shape. A circle is one. And when I left click and drag, and now I let go of my click, I've made a circle or whatever shape I've chosen. Couple of things. Whenever you make any shape, you now have the option to use the fill color. And when I click on the fill color, I can change the inside color of my shape. So I will just change it to a purple. And then you also have the option of changing the border color. And when I click on the border color, if I choose transparent, that makes no border line. And if I choose, let's say, black, that makes a black border line around it. Right now it's really thin, so if I really want everybody to see that border line, I can choose border weight and click on any one of the numbers. The larger the number, the thicker the line. The smaller the number, the thinner the line. When I click off to the side, and now I can see the shape that I've made without that blue box. If I decide I want to make changes on this shape or any other shape that I draw, I'm going to choose my black select arrow and then come right over and click on my shape. When I click on my shape, now I can change that color, the fill color again. I can change the border color. I can change the border weight, so how thick or thin that outline is. Or I can use one of these anchor boxes on the corners or on the sides or the top. And you can see when I move my arrow, right now my arrow, this is the sign that I can move my shape by left clicking and moving it. So left clicking and dragging to move. When I go to an anchor box and my arrow changes from this to this arrow, then I can left click and drag to make it larger, or I can, and remember I need to see this arrow, left click and drag to make it smaller. Okay, so anchor boxes are to left click and drag larger or left click and drag smaller. I can left click and drag so it's taller, or again, I'm waiting for the arrow to change, left click and make wider. So when I left click, I drag, and when I've got my shape where I want it, I release my click. So that's how I make shapes. Now I also have a line tool. And when I click this little arrow, it gives me a drop-down menu, and on this drop-down menu are all my choices. So I'm going to show you the line, the curve, the polyline, and the scribble today. So my line tool, every click I make makes a line. Now, same options. When I've got it selected, if I go to the circle and my arrow changes from this, which remember, left click, drag to move, but when it changes from this to this cursor, I can left click and drag, and I can change the direction. So I'm still clicking right now. I have not released my click, which is why I can change the direction and I can change the length. Now I released my click, and here's the stroke that I've made, my line stroke. Now I can change the color of it by going to line color. And I will put that red so it's nice and bright. and I can change the line weight so I can keep it skinny or change it to really thick. And then I'll click off to the side and I've got my line. Remember, this black arrow lets me click on any shape and change options to it. Now I will click on this drop down again and I will choose curve. This one's pretty tricky. It takes some getting used to. So every click I make takes my line in a different direction. And I can make basically any shape. So I'm going to delete that shape by pressing delete or backspace on my keyboard. And now I'm going to select that line again, that curve line. I'm going to tell you when I click. So click, 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 click. Okay, so now I've just made this shape. Same thing, I can change the fill color and I can change the outline. Okay, and I'll change that to black. I will change the weight. I'm using thicker lines so you can see your options, and you can use whatever lines you want. So remember, when I want to move a shape, I need to see those arrows. I'll left click and drag and release when I'm ready to leave it where I see it. And then I can when I see the arrow change from this to this, I can left click and drag to change the size of my shape or anything I want. And I just clicked off to the side. Anytime I want to change a shape, I use that black arrow to click right on the shape I want to change. Now I will use that drop down again to show you our third line tool. When I click on Polyline is just like the curve tool, except when I click, 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 I am making a different, I'm making a straight edge shape instead of a curved shape. Now you can notice what I did is there's no fill color on that. So if I click the fill color and change it to green, I can change my option there. Now I'll click off to the side. I will go to our last line tool, click on scribble, and it is just how it sounds. So this is a free drawing tool. So when I left click and drag, that's the scribble I have just made. I can change the line color, change it to blue, change the line weight. Again, I'll make it pretty thick so you can see. And when I see my arrow go from this to this on one of those anchor boxes, I can change the direction by left clicking and dragging. I can move it when I see the arrow change from this to this. I can left click and drag to wherever I want to move it. And when I go up and I see my arrow change from this to this, I can left click and drag to change the direction of my line. So there was a very quick introduction on how to draw in Google Slides. If you have any questions, post them down in the comments, and you can always rewind, rewatch, pause where you need to this video. Have fun creating in Google Slides.